Happy Halloween, hope you're having a great day. Snakes can fly. Did you know that? This is a Southeast Asian chrysoplia, but it's also called the flying snake. Flying snakes spend most of their time in the trees, and by pressing the ridges of their scales against the bark, they can actually climb straight up a tree even with no arms or legs. But instead of climbing down, these snakes save energy by flying from tree to tree. Basically, by flattening its body, the snake's belly forms a concave surface, kind of like a frisbee. By turning itself into a living parachute, not only can these snakes easily move through the air, they can actually make turns mid-flight. And even though I low-key lied about them flying, these snakes can glide farther than animals like flying squirrels. In fact, a motivated snake can go for 330 feet. For non-Americans, that's about 100 meters. For Americans that don't understand distance, that's about the length of a football field. But these snakes don't usually fly to catch bodies. In fact, most of the time they're doing it to avoid other animals. Even though it is venomous, unless you're like a rat or something, it probably won't kill you. Don't be a snitch. It doesn't change the fact that somewhere in the world you can actually look up and see a snake getting hang time right over your head. I want you to remember that tonight. This bird can end your life in one of the worst ways possible. This is a hooded pitowee, and it's the only poisonous bird in the world. Its feathers, skin, and even tissues contain a potent batrachotoxin that it steals from the beetles it eats. That same poison is the reason why this frog can murk 20,000 mice, pack up 10 people, and even though it can sleep on a quarter, this frog allegedly contains enough toxin to drop a full-grown elephant. And that's the same poison this toxic sweetie uses to defend itself. And because its poison is a neurotoxin, it basically shuts down muscle by blocking the sodium channels of nerve cells, meaning it would just get harder and harder for you to breathe until your lungs shut down. Eventually you'd become paralyzed, you'd lose consciousness, and your heart would stop. Not only can the poison turn you into past tense in only 10 minutes, the amount of poison it would take to turn your name into a hashtag weighs as much as 2 grains of salt. If you touch this bird with your lips, your entire mouth would go numb, and we know that because someone actually did it. But to be fair, this bird's never taken a human life, that we know of. But this tiny bird has the power to put you on the news, and I don't think nearly enough people talk about it. It's Halloween, so naturally I gotta ruin your day. This is your only chance to scroll. So way back when in Victorian England, people would try to remove tapeworms by first having the patients starve themselves for a couple of days. Then they would insert a cylinder with food into the digestive tract to lure the tapeworm, and then it would be pulled out through the mouth. Now the problem was that some of these tapeworms grew to 6 feet long, so allegedly there was a good number of patients that actually choked to death before it was completely out. But the worst part? Back then, a lot of women would purposely infect themselves with tapeworms, that way they could eat whatever they wanted without gaining weight. Very literal big mistake, because tapeworms can grow to 26 feet long and they can live inside the host body for 30 years. That's a whole mortgage, my guy. Also, tapeworms give birth more than any other animal, since they can have up to 1,000 segments called proglottids, and some species have up to 100,000 eggs in just one of them.
I am not okay with this.
Release nearly 1 million eggs in a 24-hour cycle.
I am not okay with this.
Tapeworm, that means you probably do too. According to health organizations, about 50 million people are infected right now, and unless you show symptoms, you might never know it's inside you. In fact, some tapeworms can suppress the immune system so that your body's built-in defenses don't attack it. But it also means some tapeworms could cause you to have less of an allergic reaction to certain things. So if you ever wake up one day and you can drink milk all of a sudden, you might want to get checked. You might just have a roommate living rent-free in your guts. Pause.
Woman nearly meets God without even realizing it.
That tapeworm thing literally just made my skin crawl. I don't know about you, but my entire body right now just feels disgusting. Like I feel like I gotta take a bath. I feel like I gotta take a bath. Oh God. Okay. All right. I can get through this. I
don't think y'all understand just how lucky this woman is. Now you definitely know that's a blue ring octopus. I'm sure you know it's one of the most venomous things on the planet. You might even know that one bite from it is toxic enough to put 26 men on milk cartons. There's a special thing about them that somehow makes them even worse. Because it's so small, if this octopus bites you, there's a good chance you're not gonna feel it. It's like a pinprick, and it's why most people don't even realize the countdown's already started. Because you don't feel it, but when this homicidal golf ball bites you, it injects you with a neurotoxin about 10,000 times more powerful than cyanide. And once that venom's in your body, it can shut down muscles, causing difficulty breathing and eventually paralysis. Meaning you would just suffocate to death. Which is why this octopus can kill you in as little as 30 minutes. Which is bad enough, but if you don't know you've been bitten, you can end up getting flatlined out of nowhere if you don't seek medical attention. And if the paralysis hits you while you're swimming, use your imagination. Basically, you can hold this octopus for 3 seconds and be a was in half an hour. Which means this woman Eurostep dying in one of the worst ways possible. Anything that tries that hard to be seen is probably more toxic than future. That goes for animals and people. This is what happens when one of the deadliest animals in the world gets a taste for humans. So back in 1898, the British started building a railroad bridge over the Savo River in Kenya, and they employed several mostly Indian workers over an 8-mile area. But what they didn't realize was they had accidentally wandered right into the territory of one of the top predators on the planet. Because over the next 9 months, Two maneless male lions would stalk the workers, and when they would return to the campsite after a long day, the lions would sneak in and literally drag the workers out and maul them into a statistic, and eat them. And at first, only one lion at a time would enter the campsite. But eventually, the two male lions started catching bodies together as a team. The crew tried to break this kill streak by putting up a thorn fence. Told them a motivated Simba can jump 11 feet in the air, so the lions easily cleared it. In only 3 months, 29 workers had been put in an ashtray by the hungry lions, to the point where the other workers started to panic and leave the construction site. So the head officials responded by bringing in hunters to evict the lions from the area, and you know where it goes from here. Cowie's looking down at him. He knows how this movie ends. Late one night, the lions allegedly broke into the hunter's cabin where they mauled one hunter, dragged him outside, and that was the night his name got taken off the census. Eventually, the two lions were shot and put out of commission, and it took 9 rifle shots to drop the second one. Eventually, the railroad workers finished the bridge, but it cost over 130 men and 2 lions to do it. And the number of men lost was an estimate, because apparently lions don't leave a lot of their victims behind. And with all the bodies the lions caught, the workers might have built the track, but the lions ran the train.
Wait for it. I can explain.
That's crazy.
Once upon a time, I downloaded TikTok as a joke, and now I explain stuff like this for a living.
Wait, I think I've seen this.
So when a lot of baby birds
on
are
his
still in the
video.
nest, instead of deucing all over the place, instead they'll dump into a white mucus membrane called a fecal sac.
I think I've
Basically
seen
a built-in
this.
diaper for baby birds. And just like in the video,
Yeah,
normally as
he
soon
has
as the
done
chick
this
is
video
fed, it'll
already.
release a sac for the parent to deal with. Because being a parent literally means dealing with all kinds of shit. If the chick can't produce a sac on its own, then the mother will poke and prod around its cloaca to stimulate it into dropping its pamper pack. And the reason they do this is because 1, keeping all that nastiness in the sac keeps the nest clean, and number 2, the cleaner the nest is, the less likely it is that a predator finds it. Now the reason the mother eats it is because baby birds can't digest food completely, so they end up leaving a lot of nutrients in their poop. And since nature loves to recycle, oftentimes the parent, usually the mother, will eat the sac so the nutrients at least don't go to waste. So the more you pay attention, the more you realize birds are just really f***ing weird like that. Normally by the time the chicks are ready to fly, they don't need a fecal sac anymore because their systems can handle all the food they normally eat. If I have to know this, so do you.
Is that normal? No. What is that?
So sharks have this reboot feature where they go into a trance-like state and can't move at all. It's called tonic immobility, and it usually lasts for about 60 seconds, but it can go on for up to 15 minutes when left alone. You can also trigger it yourself by rubbing a shark's snout near its eyes. And once the shark snaps out of it, it goes back to whatever it was doing like nothing ever happened. We don't know for sure why they do this, but most scientists believe it has something to do with mating. It also could be because sharks use electroreception to figure out where they and other animals around them are. It's like an already installed GPS. So flipping a shark upside down probably just disorients them, and tonic immobility stops them from moving and thrashing around until they can readjust themselves. Also, this can and has been used against them. Once off the coast of California, a female orca held a great white shark upside down for 15 minutes. Since the shark was paralyzed and couldn't escape, it ended up suffocating to death. Which is probably why a waterproof Oreo can legitimately traumatize a shark for an entire year. No, seriously, sharks will avoid an area for a whole trip around the sun if they run into an orca once out of fear being factory reset by them.
Angry Cougar follows man for nearly 6 minutes.
So this hiker actually did the right thing and saved his own life. With ambush hunters like wildcats, you never want to turn away from them because then you might activate their predator response and then they'll just hit you from the back. They'll attack from behind. You also never want to run because then you'll just trigger them into chasing you. And at up to 45 miles per hour, you're not going to get very far. It's like hitting snooze on death. Also, you never want to crouch down and be in a position lower than the cougar. Mountain lions don't recognize humans standing on 2 feet as prey, but if you squat or bend down, pause, the walking flex could confuse you for a 4-legged prey animal, and if it does, it's credits. In general, you never want to crouch down in mountain lion country, even if you don't think there's one around. Because just because you don't see him, doesn't mean he don't see you. So to not get turned into a story on CNN, you want to stand tall and speaking a loud, firm voice. It really doesn't matter what you say. Cougars don't understand English, but they do understand volume, and if you speak loud enough, you can actually intimidate them. And like the man in the video, you're going to want to do this while backing away slowly. You don't want to turn your back, and you don't want to go too fast, because if you trip and fall and get turned into a hashtag, you're going to feel really stupid in the afterlife. Also, cougars are actually afraid of people and normally won't attack you unless they feel cornered.
I thought that.
The cougar in this video doesn't want to attack the hiker, and if I had to guess, the hiker accidentally got too close to the cougar's cubs. Cougars will hide their cubs in brush and bushes, so it's basically the mother's way of escorting you out. And if a cougar does charge, 90% of the time,
she looks like
bluff to intimidate you.
she's trying to get him to back off.
Rocks and sticks, not at the cougar, but at the ground in front of it as a warning shot. That's how you survive a cougar, or at least the cat. If a cougar presses you here, I got no tips for you, but she might.
Which is funny because, like, that's what I thought. I could have sworn that some lions, like cougars or mountain lions and stuff like that, They particularly don't like or particularly are afraid of humans. That's why when I'm watching this video and he's like, no, get back, get back, get back, get back. And the thing's just hitting the ground. It looks like she's trying to scare him off. Like she's trying to get him away. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that thought that, but it looks like she like it's trying to scare him off.
Cougar follows man for nearly 6 minutes.
Yeah, see, she's hitting the ground.
So this hiker,
she's hitting the ground. If she wanted to attack him, why wouldn't she just run at him and then leap at him? She's hitting the ground, so he must have gotten way too close to her cubs. Like, she looked like she's trying to scare him off. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction. If you did, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe down below for more videos just like this one. Make sure you like me, you love me, and you talk to me down below. And I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Peace.